The views expressed here are solely those of the host and do not represent the positions of any sponsors, affiliates, or institutions. I Don't Subscribe does not serve as a medium for salvation, leadership, or advocacy on behalf of others. An individual's internal compass is their most reliable guide. These conversations serve as waypoints along one's journey. For this reason, I encourage listeners to critically examine all narratives presented, including those on this show. An individual journey is uniquely theirs, and it should be navigated with confidence and intuition. Retain what resonates, release what does not. Let's converse. Coming from an adverse community environment, I quickly learned that true leadership isn't defined by titles or pedigree. It's about survival. Here's a thing that if you are brave enough to admit, the most formidable individual in any boardroom isn't necessarily the one with the most prestigious degree. It's the person who has honed the ability to read danger before they can even read a spreadsheet. Welcome to another episode of I Don't Subscribe with yours truly, Ibrahim Daffae. Today, we are not going to just discuss trauma, we are going to weaponize it. You dig? But I want to take a moment to say that this episode is brought to you by House of Lone Wolf, where adversity transforms into executive advantage. For organizations that demand more than theoretical concepts, visit houseoflonewolf.com. I want you to imagine this for a moment. The C suite is deserted except for you. The market is shifting, teams are fracturing, and the decision upcoming could cost you millions of dollars. In that moment, despite all of your training, your decision making is hijacked. The data blurs, options paralyze, confidence, it evaporates. But I want you to understand this. This isn't a leadership failure. This is your brain's neural wiring. It was set decades before you even thought about rocking a suit. You dig? Every executive, if they choose to be honest with themselves, would recognize that sensation, the split second when instinct takes the reins and logic recedes. The uncomfortable reality is this. Most leaders navigate boardrooms using neural code that they crafted in their childhood when survival was the only viable business plan they had. I know this pattern intimately, not from textbooks, but from lived experience. One must understand the unpredictability of Central to Freetown. Hope must be reinvented every day. Juxtapose that with the relentless demands of the South Bronx. My brain wasn't just wired for survival. I learned to thrive. Here's what nobody tells you. The same neural pathways that help you to survive chaos can now become your strategic advantage if you know how to rewire them. So there has to be a neural blueprint because an executive brain is a living record, not a blank slate. It encapsulates every challenge, every threat, and every adaptation. When a child confronts unpredictability, their developing brain creates specialized wiring. This wiring heightens the threat detection. There's a rapid decision making, and most importantly, emotional compartmentalization. These traits aren't deficiencies, they are adaptive advantages overlooked by conventional leadership training. At 12, I managed logistics for my siblings while my mother worked long hours. Many can attest to the same. And society will label that as a disadvantage. I call it executive function training. It is way more valuable than what an MBA can provide. You dig? So consider that this early rewiring, fostering distinctive leadership capabilities. Three comes to mind. First, there's the crisis navigation, the ability to maintain clarity when system collapse. A leader molded by uncertainty does not freeze they act decisively. The inherent ability to detect subtle shifts in team dynamics or market trends before they become evident. Some label this as intuition, as gut feeling. Neuroscientists will say that this is just your neural architecture doing its job. Third, when you grow up in an adverse community environment, it is palpable that the resources are fewer, which then teaches you how to maximize every asset, not as a theory, but as a necessity. The journey one takes from neural burden to breakthrough begins with recognition. What the world labels as weakness may actually become your hidden strategic edge. So there has to be a transformational protocol in the process. So, how do you transform survival code into a strategic advantage? I'm not trying to take no shot at anyone, but it's not going to be through no therapy speech or positive thinking. It requires a protocol. The first step, pattern identification. This isn't about reliving the past. I get it. We're in a postmodern day society. People are still talking about the past because they never passed anything. This is about mapping one leadership behaviors back to their origin. Because one must ask themselves, where did I learn to control? Where did I learn to withdraw? Where did I learn to over deliver? More importantly, what threat was I even addressing? There has to be contextual rewiring. An individual must take the instinct of hypervigilance, for instance, and redirect it toward competitive analysis. Instead of becoming that micromanager who's always nagging the team, shift the energy. Neuroplasticity is not some trendy term that people just use. It's truly one's competitive edge, and it's never too late to harness it. There are many studies out there floating by neuroscientists that confirms that targeted intentional practice can reshape even the most deeply ingrained responses. You dig? And the third will be for you to establish a system, routines, feedback loops, crisis plans that facilitate your optimal performance. Even when the old wiring resurfaces, this is what many will call integration architecture. It is a structured methodology to integrate your past experience into your leadership for peak performance. You are not erasing your past. You are just leveraging it for your advantage. What is the practical takeaway from this? Consider to take a moment this week, reflect, write down one leadership behavior that surfaced under pressure. Trace it back. What early experience shaped that response, and decide how to redirect it from self sabotage into strategic value. I would like to hear your story. What is the one hidden advantage from your past that has shaped your leadership style? Share it. Let's turn your experiences into strength. Challenge what's considered normal because normal never transform anything. You dig? Special thank you once again to House of Lone Wolf for supporting this show. Also, remember, the opportunity outweighs the problem when you decode the chaos. Your scars aren't signs of brokenness, they signify defiance against mediocrity and the status quo. I'm Ibrahim Daffae. I don't subscribe because niggas be lying, and that's what truly set me apart. You dig?